Hey guys, I just saw this snippet from Gruen, the ABC show, and yeah, we all know it's true, but it's kind of funny when it's brought to the surface. In Australia and other prominent countries in the world, it's indeed striking that political advertising isn't held to the same truth in advertising standards as commercial products like toilet paper. While businesses are legally prohibited from making misleading claims about their products, political entities face no such requirements federally to ensure their advertisements are factually correct. Take a watch.
There is no legal requirement for political advertising to be factual. It is incredible. I mean, it is incredible to think there's more legal requirement and regulation around selling toilet paper than there is around selling the political leaders of our country.
Yeah, same amount of shit, though.
Let's look at the current legal landscape. At the federal level, political advertising is primarily governed by two pieces of legislation. The Commonwealth Electoral Act 1918. So this act mandates, I use the word mandate. What is a mandate? That politically advertisements must include proper authorisation, ensuring transparency about who is responsible for the content. We've all seen that, at the end of the ad, and they'll say, authorised by Jamie Smith, Canberra. Anyway, and the other act that it's governed by is the Broadcasting Services Act 1992. This legislation regulates aspects such as access to broadcasting services and the timing of political advertisements. However, neither of these laws requires that the content of political advertisement to be truthful. Both of those acts don't state any of that. This means that under current federal law, it's legal for political ads to contain misleading or false information. Now, let's compare that to, say, toilet paper commercials, right? In contrast, commercial advertising in Australia and other jurisdictions around the world is subject to stringent regulations to protect consumers. For example, the Australian Consumer Law, administered by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, the ACCC. The ACL prohibits businesses from engaging in misleading or deceptive conduct, including false advertising. And there are penalties for that. Companies that breach these laws can face significant penalties, including fines and corrective advertising orders. I don't know, am I the only one who's thinking this? Surely not. This disparity highlights a paradox. There is more legal accountability for the claims made about everyday products like loo roll than for those made by political figures seeking public office. Now, just so you know, full disclosure, in Australia anyway, there are some state-level initiatives. South Australia and the ACT have taken steps to address this gap. Okay, so since 1985, SA has enforced laws against misleading political advertising. Under Section 113 of the Electoral Act 1985, it's an offence to authorise or publish electoral advertisements that are materially inaccurate and misleading. The Electoral Commission of South Australia can order the withdrawal of such ads and mandate corrections. Likewise, in the ACT, in 2020, the Australian Capital Territory introduced similar laws, with the first election under this regime occurring in late 2024. These laws aim to ensure that political advertising is truthful and not misleading. Now, there you go. There's now precedence, right? These state-level laws demonstrate that it is feasible to legislate against false political advertising without infringing on free speech. However, Australia, we've just had a federal election. So the election's already happened, right? So if the changes are made now, they don't really come into force until the next federal election, But I feel that there is community support, widespread support for truth in political advertising. there's strong public backing for implementing truth in political advertising laws nationwide. Now, what should be the path moving forward? My thoughts, my humble little thoughts. I'm sure many will agree. The absence of federal laws mandating truth in political advertising stands in stark contrast to the rigorous standards applied to commercial advertising. Given the successful implementation of such laws in SA and ACT, and there's an overwhelming widespread support, isn't there a compelling case for extending these protections nationwide, ensuring that political discourse is grounded in truth? Because wouldn't you say that is essential for a healthy democracy? I want to open this up for discussion. Let's talk about the last election. Let's talk about your views regarding commercial and political advertising. And go in the comments below.